Hello everyone. I went and tried to make this video prior, back when I shared the other video, but as you can tell, I was quite scatterbrained that day. And so when I was making the video, I felt a lot of it didn't make sense, so a bit of a redo. But yeah, I wanted to go over just making bass, specifically in operator. I'll kind of showcase my journey with bass sound design in general. Just a quick overview, but the focus today is going to be mainly an operator. So try and get through this as quick as I can without dragging it on for too long. But I wanted to kind of share like what my intentions are when I'm making bass, what I'm looking for, outside of just the typical experiment and having fun, etc., process. But so yeah, let's go ahead and jump into Ableton and we'll get going. All right. So a lot of the bass, actually, I guess just sounds in general, have been in Serum. I feel, at least for me, and it seems like for a lot of other people too, that Serum is very easy to grasp, whereas a lot of other synths might be quite, kind of hard to understand at first. But I believe I've done a video before. It might have been older content that might have been archived, but this is why I'm doing these newer videos, because I feel like when it comes to tutorials, you can make a tutorial at a certain time, but then you learn more information, methods are updated, etc. So I feel like, things are always changing. But anyway, so yeah, I would make most of my bass in here, and I feel like it's like this for certain producers, and then for others it's not. But I typically approach making bass with pretty much the same formula every time, and then I might go and kind of off the path a bit, to explore, to find newer sounds or different sounds, or just like different variations of a sound. But just kind of getting into the groove of your specific flow, whatever that might be, whatever your process is, and then kind of doing little tweaks here and there to get different results. I think, at least has been a good approach for me. So when I'm in Serum, I'll typically go to basic shapes, and for me, I love sine waves. Excuse me. And then occasionally I'll use like a triangle, square sometimes, but I just like the very clean tones that both of these wave shapes produce. So, essentially, a lot of the bass that I do will have some type of FM synthesis applied, so I'll activate the second oscillator to do that. But typically what I do is I'll throw on a pitch ramp. I kind of do the same process in pretty much every synth I might use, to where I'm kind of basically trying to make an 808. And so I'll make the pitch ramp here, and I just apply this LFO onto the chorus, which I already did. So then now, it's pretty quiet, so now you can hear it. But if I put on envelope, so something like that is kind of my starting point, and then I might go and add the second oscillator, and then same thing, go to basic shapes and apply the pitch envelope to this as well, so that way they're both doing the exact same thing when it comes to the pitch. And then I'll activate the FM from B, and then kind of go from there. And then I might play with the octaves. So yeah, that's kind of essentially what I do. It's just two sine waves, pitch envelope, on both, and then pretty much the sky's the limit from there. I'll go start playing with the octaves. I might go and play around with the wave shape, how much FM, do like a new LFO, maybe get this going. You know, like that's another option. Go and play with effects, etc., etc., etc. The options are endless. So that's my approach to how I make bass in Serum. So now going over to Operator, I'm essentially kind of trying to achieve the same results. It's just in a different synth. So in here, this is also an FM synth, and so I've for as far back as I can remember, I've just been really fascinated by FM synthesis, and so I've been discovering that all the different genres that incorporate bass sounds in some way are using FM synthesis. I remember hearing like old Alex Perez and like Critical Music, if you're familiar with that record label. They did a lot of like FM synth, very like subtle and kind of like low body, like sine basses or even like square basses, things like that. And so I always have been trying to achieve those types of results. And then it's funny, I finally like, understood how they were made, and then now I feel like the door has been kind of cracked wide open in general, to where you can find these presets quite easily now because of, like the big boom of like the new era of Skrillex, the Hamdi style, all those things. There's like so many packs I've come across that now are incorporating bass sounds from that are inspired by both of those producers. So anyways, enough tangent now. So now when I make a bass in here, I'm kind of going for the same thing. So you have these different carriers, and you can feed like this carrier into this one, so that way it's frequency modulating this one, for example. And then if you go to this tab over here, there's all these different like routing algorithms. So these all, how they're routed will produce slightly different results, or they might be the same just depending on how they're routed. But I mean, for now, I'm just sticking with this one, as I am kind of figuring out like what I like when I make a bass inside of Operator. So like I said, I'm just trying to kind of recreate something similar as what I was doing here in Serum. So I see a pitch envelope here, so I can activate that. And I already hear a bit of a pitch. So then I would go ahead and, what is it? Yeah, raise this peak here. Do something like that. And then I'll move this to 4, to course 4. So I believe that these are fixed frequencies that you can move around with. So if I turn this all the way up, yeah, each of these are, I believe, specific frequencies that are in tune in some way, whereas this is a bit more like a fine tune. So it's not as harmonic, I believe. And then you could do like a fixed frequency where no matter what note I hit, it will stay the same. It's only changing because this one is not fixed, but this top carrier is a fixed frequency. So I'll always stay the same, like whatever I choose here. So anyways, now why did I choose 4? So when I discovered this when I was trying to make a log bass, and so I was trying to make like piano kind of log bass, if you're familiar with that, and all the tutorials I was